hate to be dramatic. Actually, I don't. I love it. But truly, there is an epidemic of bad wedding planning going on in Italy, and we need to start talking about it, and we need to start being honest about it. This is a long episode, and I really implore vendors, venues, couples, planners, please watch this and go through each point and think about whether you are part of this problem and what you can do to help fix it. This is actually destroying our industry. It is ruining couples' planning experience, and it is ruining how they all feel about their weddings and about Italian weddings. I'm going to talk about the problem and go through all the points, and then I'm also going to talk about how you actually identify a good wedding planner and how you hire one to work with you on your wedding. So my mission has always been to have a more transparent wedding industry, especially the Italian wedding industry. So everything I'm saying here is coming from a place of just wanting this to be better, wanting all of us to be better and everyone to have a better experience. I like to shine a light on good practice, good venues, good vendors, and this is where me and the La Lista team are always going to be coming from. So couples, your planner choice is going to affect how the time that you're planning your wedding goes. That could be a year, it could be 2 years. It is a huge part of your life, and obviously a hugely significant moment in your life and a huge amount of money. There are not many things that you spend this amount of money on. You are putting all of that trust into one planner or planning team to handle. And so many couples that I see in our La Lista world are admitting that they've put it in the hands of the wrong people or person. I'm a planner myself, and I put an incredible amount of work, especially over the last 10 years. Every single time something happens, something goes wrong, or some feedback that I get, I change my process and I put a lot of effort into that customer journey so that the planning experience is as good as it can be, as good as me and my team can make it. I'm extremely passionate about my personal development and always being better, always up leveling, and I am not perfect. So there are many things I'm going to say now that I don't do perfectly, and I want to hold my hands up to that too. But right now, if you check Instagram, it is flooded with Italian weddings, and to be honest, it's pretty boring. If you're in the wedding world, that's probably just all you're seeing all day long. I find it all kind of sounds the same, looks the same. We are living in a really aesthetic world. There's not much substance behind that, and that is part of the problem. So what is the big picture? What is really going on out there? What is this bad planning? Get on with it, Lucy. Okay, so couples are having a really shit time out there. We have got thousands of couples in our community, and they are saying what is happening to them. They are telling us their real experiences, and they are having bad experiences with planners. What starts with a few niggles might turn into a terrible year-long planning experience, a really horrible, stressful moment just before their wedding, and lots of problems on their wedding day, including having quite a bad relationship with their planner. So we've kept quite quiet about this because we don't want to scare people, but it's happening. Couples are talking about it and vendors are talking about it. Privately, I have so many vendors also telling me all of the things that they witness at weddings. And we've got these two lines of communication, couples saying it, vendors saying it. We know it's happening, but we're all keeping quiet about it. I want you to be able to spot the difference before it's too late. So I feel like I need to give you some examples of what is bad planning. What are the experiences that couples are having that are bad? It is things like the planner being really slow to communicate. It's things like the planner being so slow that the couple miss out on vendors that they wanted to book. It is things like confusion over communication, who should communicate with who, when things should be done, and pricing. Why is the vendor cheaper if I go directly myself? It is things like how you actually communicate leading up to a wedding. Couples don't know what to expect in those last months of planning. Their expectations aren't managed, then they're hounded for the 2 weeks before the wedding for loads of information just before the wedding, which is really stressful. It's literally not proper planning. It's not having a timeline. Couples are writing timelines themselves. They are sourcing decorations themselves, things that they understood that the planner would be doing. And then ultimately, obviously things going wrong on the wedding day, things not being communicated properly, things not going to plan. That's just some of the lighter stuff. So this scenario where we're all being quiet about this is perpetuating a problem, which is where couples are therefore booking these same planners that are causing these issues again and again and again. And at the same time, because of this narrative of bad planning, couples don't trust planners. Couples are finding it really hard to trust planners, and those that are good are being overlooked, often as being too expensive, when actually they're just normally priced. I've identified 6 things that we are all doing that is enabling this problem. The first thing is staying quiet. We need to speak up about this, okay? Agreed. Second thing is we're accepting crap planning as normal. A wedding planner is a role that is a really specific job. A wedding planner has very specific skills and needs very specific experience to be able to do their job well. It is not a job title that you can just pin on and say, okay, now I'm a wedding planner. You need skills and experience. And by couples not interviewing planners properly, by not going through the due diligence of knowing what a real wedding planner should be able to do, we're hiring people that do not have that experience or have those skills, but expecting them to have them and be able to do them. And they are claiming that they can when they can't. This is like lying on a CV. I can do these things when actually maybe they can't. We're also framing normal wedding planner prices, completely justified, perfectly normal wedding planner prices, as expensive because we're being undercut by people with much lower skills, arguably sometimes no skills to be able to do the wedding planning job at a much, much, much lower price. This is the cycle. People are booking those planners, they are then having a bad experience, and that is then affecting how everybody feels about planners. There's an obvious link here. If I break down the hours that me and my team put into wedding planning, it is literally hundreds of hours, let alone the experience that we have spent some of us 30 years learning and building. It is an absolute huge ton of work to be able to plan a wedding properly. Imagine being by someone's side for 1 to 2 years, sometimes even more, literally various trips to travel, hundreds of hours of meetings, all of the admin of wedding planning, the team that we have to hire and deliver on the day, the systems that we put in place, everything that actually holds our business together. The actual pay that we get per hour is really low. So to be able to give a good service, to be able to not burn out, and to be able to not take too many weddings, we have to charge a certain amount of money. Planners that are not charging enough for the hours that they have to put into a wedding are coming unstuck. They're going to have to take many more weddings. They get too busy and have too full a calendar, and then this comes back to the service they can deliver. They disappoint their customers because they cannot meet the promises that they've said on communication time, the amount of communication. They have to slightly neglect their customers. And again, this plugs into customers being unhappy with the service that they're getting. All planners are bad. And then there's the real biggie, commission. Planners are lying every day about whether they charge commission or not. I know it as a fact. It's constantly communicated to us in our groups from couples. They find out that their planner has been hiding the fact that they charge commission to venues or vendors as part of their wedding planning. This is not okay. At this point, we know who's adding commission and we know who's not. And many planners are outright saying that they do not add commission, even putting it in their contracts, and then still charging commission. And this causes so many problems, one of them obviously being complete distrust between couples and planners, and also vendors and planners. Many couples are even keeping quiet about this. They discover that their planner is literally adding money to their own pocket within their wedding budget when it's been agreed that they wouldn't. And then the couple are choosing to stay quiet about it because they're scared of the impact that it would have to bring it up with their planner. That is just absolutely crazy. Let's just have a little recap of what commission is, because I don't want you to think that all commission is bad. Commission is an age-old thing within Italian weddings, and it is a percentage that a planner may be granted if they book a venue or a vendor. So the vendor may reward the planner for getting them that job by giving them a percentage of the fee. Everybody has their own opinion on this. Mine is, commission is okay when it's transparent, and that may seem really obvious. But sadly it's not to everybody. Commission is okay even when it's added on to a vendor cost. So for example, a photographer may cost €5,000. It may be €5,500 if the planner has added their 10% commission. If the planner has told the couple this up front, that's okay. The couple are fully aware of what's happening, and they should and hopefully will have budgeted that through the budget line. So this is the budget, this is the 10% on almost everything that our planner will get, and then this is maybe the other planner fee that they will charge. Obviously, that planner fee should be considerably lower than the next planner that doesn't charge commission and that maybe just has a flat fee on a wedding. Commission can also happen when a vendor or venue decides to build the cost in within their fee. So me as a planner, if I go to a venue and book it, the cost would have been €10,000. If the couple go to the vendor or the venue and book it, it would still be €10,000. But that vendor or venue has decided that it is important to them to still give that commission to say thank you to the planner, because that is generally how things do work. I'd say that's becoming less and less common. To me, that's okay because the cost is the same whether the couple went direct or the planner went direct. And very occasionally, the venue or vendor will let the planner reduce the overall fee of their service and give that commission technically back to the couple. Most of the time they won't do that. Again, I think this is okay if the planner is honest about it. I would want to know if my planner was getting a kind of kickback from anyone. Where commission becomes a little bit confusing and not quite sure about it is where commission could sway who the planner puts forward. So if this venue will give me €1,000 commission and this venue won't, who do I put in my proposal to the couple? Now, personally, we do everything for the couple. So we are the agent for them and we must do absolutely what is best for their wedding, not best for anyone else. So the right venues and vendors will go in that proposal, whether they grant commission or not. But it could be that commission and the amount that they are receiving could sway who they put forward in that vendor proposal. How do you work that out? You ask. If a planner is charging correctly up front, i.e. they know their worth, they're covering the cost of their business, they are charging enough to make their business work, they are absolutely not going to be driven by commission because they do not need it to survive and to make their business survive. Another place where commission gets a little bit tricksy for me is where my vendor friends turn down jobs because the planner has pressured them for commission. So the couple may want my videographer friend, their fee is €8,000. The planner goes to the videographer friend and says, I want 10% of that, but I want it built into your costs because I don't want the couple's cost to be elevated. The videographer has to decide whether they want to lose €800 just to get that job, or they don't take the job. They lose out on the job, even though the couple also want them. This can happen with a lack of transparency as well. I know for a fact, again, many of my vendor friends, this is happening a lot of the time with planners and nobody is talking about it. And for me, finally, the worst thing that's happening is planners are getting contracts from vendors and then adding their commission and hiding it within that total cost and pretending that they're not getting commission. They're literally lying about it. And obviously that's not okay. Whatever you deem to be right or wrong with commission, I think it's quite clear from how hard that was for me to communicate that commission is confusing. If it's confusing for me, and I've been working in this for 10 years, yes, sometimes I can be a bit of an idiot, but if it's confusing for me, imagine how that feels to a couple trying to navigate the Italian wedding world. There's all these nuances within it. If we could all just be clear about how we do commission and transparent, open and honest about it, it would be so much better for our entire industry. The final thing that's happening, which is causing a problem, is on the couples. People aren't taking responsibility for how they're shopping for vendors. Couples have to do the work and shop around. You have to interview people properly. You have to know what you're sourcing. You have to only sign contracts that are very, very, very clear. You have to ask the right questions. Your due diligence at this stage will save you being one of these couples that towards the end has a really difficult time and is really unhappy with the service that they've had, probably quite highly stressed, and ends up having problems in and around their wedding. And if you're shopping on price, it's always going to be too good to be true, literally by the fact that you cannot run a wedding business charging a few £1,000s as a wedding planner. You have to be adding commission somewhere, and if your planner is charging low and saying that they're not charging commission, then they're literally a magician. Couples, I really want to say to you, don't put up with bad planning. Speak out, complain, change planners if you have to. Never sign a contract that isn't a proper contract. Make sure your deliverables are super clear. Make sure your deposit is refundable if they can't prove that they've done the work. You have to be due diligent about this and you have to stand up for yourself. I've seen lots of couples change their planners and everything's gone really smoothly. You will not lose your wedding. You will not jeopardize your wedding. The worst thing you can do to jeopardize your wedding is staying with someone that you don't trust and that you know is lying to you.